Hello, welcome to the third place match of the Monster Sanctuary tournament circuits. I am Pope Pius, or in the tournament bracket when I'm actually playing in them, otherwise known as Infamous Sniper.
And I'm Sphinx. Nice to meet you all again. And we are watching Red versus Death, two really strong players.
This is our third place match now, and so we're pretty high up in the tournament here. Red at least got to beat the developer of Monster Sanctuary earlier in this tournament.
Yep. And he has also the first turn since he is from the higher seed, being the only player who never got any defeat during the first part of the tournament, which is a pretty impressive record, I must say.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. So it's kind of hard for me to tell like what these teams are. Well, I guess Death has a pretty easy to read Occult's team here, but Red's team is definitely very interesting here. Got some like debuff monsters, definitely a lot of charge stack and support going on.
Yeah, basically the aim of Red team is to build a lot of charge and buffs. So that's why the main DPS of this team, of Red teams, are like Griffo or like Mimic. Griffo and Mimic both like buffs and charge stacks. So having a support like King Blob is very good, especially also because King Blob has Purify, which can allow us also to not be crippled by the blind.
Ah, okay, now I'm starting to see kind of how King Blob can work in this team. King Blob inherits whatever light and dark shift come from the blob you evolve it from. So typically people like to evolve King Blob from Rainbow Slime because it offers Mass Mystify for extra buffs, or Debuff Mastery for extra debuffs, but you can also give it heal charging from the regular blob in order to build up charge stacks, or possibly Supremacy from Lava Blob, though probably heal charging would be more the way to go.
I'm pretty sure that he took heal charging, to build extra charge stacks while providing healing.
Yep, we can see those charge stacks ticking up after that restore action right there. So that actually seems like a good defensive core between King Blob and Targot there. Both of them are going to be very hard to take down since King Blob's only weak to debuffs, making high damaging attacks. And Targot, just being Targot, very tanky, very hard to take down, offers a lot of shields, redirects tons of attacks, and builds tons of charge stacks for the team.
Yeah, and charge amplifier, which is huge, because a Mimic with a lot of buffs plus charge amplifier from Targot allows a lot of damage, as we just saw, making the AoE from Mimic really let's say impressive about the amount of damage which was performed, even if Sutsune and Azerach are both weak to earth damage and to undodgeable spells, let's say.
That was an interesting turn order from Death, having Mimic attack first, and then going in with Manticore with an AoE attack, and then Arachilich with an AoE attack. Typically, when looking at this team, it would seem that Arachilich is like the healer, Manticore would build combo, and then Mimic would attack last. After getting taken... So, after we've been talking about all the teams going on here, what's actually going on in this match now is it seems Death is kind of not going to be able to really recover from this. Targot and King Blob have been able to protect that Mimic very well so that it can build up all its buffs. And at this point, I just don't see how Death is going to bring it down.
Especially because the order in which Red killed Death monsters really mattered. Red really aimed to focus the Arachilich first. He really did not want Death to have 2 or 3 revive users, and so the only revive user is Gel, and you don't want to be forced into this kind of position when you are playing Bleed Blind, since your huge late game potential come from the bleed stacking, from bleed out, and also from your revive ability. from having several revive users with necromancy, which is coming from Araclish, and which provides 3 additional H stacks to any monster which is going to be revived, and also a bit of debuffs, which does not matter that much, to be honest.
Yeah, and now Red's really pushing their advantage since they don't have any monsters down. They used King Blob to restore Mimic, despite the AoE healing probably being more useful in order to keep Targo alive, because Mimic had a shock debuff on it, and Eldergel has the Magnetize ability, which makes it so that if an enemy has shock and it attacks, that shock, there's a chance to redirect the attack to whichever monster has the highest defense. But despite Targo being low on health, Death just still wasn't able to bring it down, and now Eldergel is at low enough health to where Mimic could probably bring it down.
Yep.
Now the chill on that Targo is really reducing what kind of actions it could use, so that might allow Death to get a kill here next turn if they don't lose one of their monsters. But it's unlikely that could actually transition into them winning the fight.
Okay, interesting. Killing it through bleed, but it does not work. I'm quite impressed by the fact that Gel managed to survive there.
Yeah, that typically you would expect that with Phoenix Affinity, allowing it to revive with a bit of health after dying the first time. Typically having really high bleed damage, like Mimic here, usually would result in it just dying to the bleed damage after reviving. Oh, and quite surprisingly, got 2 kills there from Death.
Yep.
Now, Eldergel did lose its revive, and once it goes down, Death has no replacement for it. And once the fight's down to a 2v4, I think that's pretty well lost at that point. But this could result in a comeback if Red can't get any kills here.
Yeah. Let's see. Normally, I believe that Red has, let's say, the tools to be able to kill at least Eldergel, but not this turn, I think. So we'll have to wait at least 1 turn.
Yeah, they're opting instead to attack Mimic there, just to wear down some of his shields so it doesn't keep building them up. So as we were seeing from the damage predictions, it wasn't looking very favorable for Griffinix. Griffinix does have some decently low damage outputs. It's not super impressive, especially this first turn where it didn't have many buffs or charge stacks yet.
Yep.
So if Death can kill the Griffinix here and survive the Eagle, this could be a really big turnaround for them. Oh, man.
Yeah, in some cases, such as like this, Griffinix appear to not be really impressive as a monster, but it's just because it requires a bit of throw in order to become a really strong powerhouse. Because if you manage to get a full heal ultimate on Griffinix with King Blob, I was really impressed about the amount of damage and about the screening ability that Griffinix has. Because with heroic defense, it becomes really hard to take it down, and through the many stacks and buff it has, it delivers a lot of damage, even through, let's say, Shred. But we did not witness it this game.
And now, unfortunately for Red here, by switching between targets, last turn with having Griffinix attack Mimic, that gave opportunity for Eldergel to heal up. And now at this point, they haven't been able to set up with any of their monsters, and it looks like Death will be able to turn this game around.
Yep.
It's very unexpected. Typically losing so many monsters compared to your opponents will pretty easily transition into a loss, but in this situation, Death was able to get just the right amount of kills and was able to force Red's team to kind of reset enough times. Because in a charge stacking team like this, Red's monsters are going to need a turn or two to build up charge stacks before they can really do enough damage to get KOs.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's less obvious than if a red was playing, let's say, a Age team, but it is a bit similar in the fact that if you manage to remove the 3 monsters who have a lot of Age stacks already, normally the monsters which are coming after, you can take them out really easily because they are less likely to be as strong as the one that you had trouble to kill. And it is what appeared here. What happened?
And also something that definitely shouldn't go unnoticed is just the random debuffs being thrown out by Death's team between Manticore, Barach Lich. Yeah, really just those two. Like they've been throwing around enough debuffs to just cripple Red's team just enough. Like Poison was pretty instrumental in taking down the Griffinics since it's weak to Earth, and then the chill stacks have really been hindering King Blob and Targo's ability to protect the team. So I would say that Red is in a better situation here, but Death does have revive on or should have revive on Eldergel. Yeah. So that means that the Mimic can come right back, and it starts off with 2 buffs, one of which is Glory, which is pretty huge. Those buffs came from Eldergel's Bolster ability, and that's going to be enough to
Ice
get
shot.
people.
Oh, actually, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting because Eagle managed to still get his Infinity stacks while he managed to remove the Infinity stacks from the opponent team. So I don't know. To be honest, I don't know who is going to win this battle.
If Eagle can do an AoE attack to take out both Manticore and the Mimic, then this could
RNG by. And yeah.
Looked like that Red was able to turn this around. Wow, this is quite the back and forth.
Yeah, it's not over yet, but it will be really tricky. Because he revives Mimic, but Mimic has no... it's only a combo of 6 without any affinity stacks. So...
the Infinity stacks each give a 25% damage boost. And they come about as the game progresses later on to kind of bring an inevitable finish. If a monster revives with Phoenix Affinity, it will keep them, but if it's revived with the revive action or the Gift of Life action, then they'll lose all their Infinity stacks.
Yeah, I think the plays here should be Bubble Burst on Mimic.
With 120 charge stacks, even King Blob can do a good amount of damage.
And Fire Pillar on John, I think. Yeah.
Now, Eldergel does have Aeons, which heals it based off how many H stacks it has, which allows it to heal off that damage pretty well.
But I don't know. I'm a bit I find it a bit strange. Like I can't see the damage preview, but I don't know. I feel it's strange that Gel is not able to take out the Eagle. Because if Gel here, instead of reviving, tries to take out Eagle, yeah, but maybe it's not possible. Maybe the bench preview are really low.
Especially now that it has that weakness debuff, that's going to really hinder it from doing that.
And no combo at all. So from no combo, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately for Death in their situation, unless they can get a kill at the Eldergel and keep it alive in the face of King Blob, then they could win from that. But kind of their out here is to just hope that Mimic can take down the Eagle, but due to its lack of Infinity stacks and the King Blob being able to heal it back up, I think that this match is going to inevitably end with this happening.
Yep, victory for Red, but GG to both players because it was really a good match, and it is only the first match. So now that they know a bit more about each other team, I'm sure that the next match will be even more interesting.
Yeah,
and this time,
So Death swapped out Mimic for Spinner from their sideboard. Each player gets to bring 9 monsters, 3 of which they keep in the back and can swap in. So in this case, Spinner is a much more of a glass cannon compared to Mimic, and really output a lot of damage, but is quite frail itself. Death got to choose to have the first turn though, which allowed them to do this massive amount of damage to Mimic. But unfortunately for Death, it was definitely not enough to take down that Mimic, and Mimic does have quite a lot of stacks on it now.
Yep.
But it will likely be able to counterattack quite heavily.
Yeah, the Leaf Slash is going to be really strong.
Yeah, taking down the Azarach in response, not a great start for Death. Mimic is just a really great counter to an occult bleed team like this, since it's quite tanky. It's resistant to it's only weak to magical attacks. And
the combo of Mimic and King Blob especially is a really good counter, because King Blob provides buff, heal, and sustain, and also remove stacks with Purify, while Mimic is just really good to anything which is abusing dodge.
Yeah, Leaf Slash is pretty huge here, since both Setsune and Azarach both are weak to Earth and rely a bit on dodge. Azarach more so than Setsune. So once again, Death losing quite a few monsters right at the start due to Mimic. And this time, instead of Targoats, Red is using Goblin Miner.
Yeah, I really like what he is doing, because about Death, because him bringing Arachlish makes Red. It's tricky for Red, because he has to make a decision. Does he go for Spinner, which is a huge DPS? But if he does, we will have Arachlish and Endergel on the last board, and it's really dangerous. Or does he go for Arachlish and or Endergel? But the problem is Spinner is dealing a lot of damage, so it's tricky to ignore it.
Yeah, so Eldergel and Arachlich are such a problem to be leaving up as two of the three last monsters, because they both have revive, meaning that you'd have to get rid of both of them before being able to finish off Death's team. But it's really hard to take them down individually, because they both have Phoenix Affinity, and Red's team here, except for Mimic, none of them really have the ability to kill through a Phoenix Affinity on one turn. Eagle doesn't have any damaging debuffs or bleed application. Griffinix has a bit of burn application, which could possibly kill through a Phoenix Affinity, but Mimic would be the main one with its bleed.
Yeah, it depends on who, since Eldergel has a debuff resistance.
Oh, definitely. That would definitely prevent the kills going through on it through Phoenix Affinity. Now, so we see that Red opted to get rid of the Spinner, which probably was the easiest play for them to go for there. Spinner's damage is definitely something you don't want to leave on the field for long. But now with two Revivers on the field, things are going to be quite difficult for Red.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really tricky when you are facing this exact trio, because you don't want to kill one of them, except for maybe for Arachlish. But you don't want to kill one of them because you will have necromancy stacks. So you have to kill one time both Eldergel and Arachlish. And you certainly do not want to kill Manticore, because a Manticore with 3 H stacks is very dangerous. And also, if you kill Manticore, you remove the weakness debuff.
Yeah, so Red's in a pretty tough spot here, despite having 2 extra monsters compared to Death. And another thing going on in this situation is that Eldergel's Blood Magic Aura is allowing Magikarp to apply extra bleed on its attacks. So Magikarp is going to be applying a quite devastating amount of bleed stacks. All of them aren't going to be doing very much damage, but there's just so many of them, and due to working like that, King Blob's Purify isn't going to really do much.
Okay, it's interesting. He tried to. I mean, he used full heal on the goblin.
I don't know if that was a misclick there.
Ah, you think? I don't know. Maybe it was strategy in order for. Because maybe he wants to use Goblin Miner as a DPS. No, maybe it was a misclick. I don't know.
Goblin Miner can definitely come out with some quite high damage since it builds up charge stacks quite easily. So it might be possible that they are hoping to do that. They got the miss with Eagle due to the blind stack, and that's another thing which is going to really hurt Red's chances here. Is that Eagle and Goblin Eagle wants to do a single big hit with the first strike of an attack, and then they also want Goblin Miner to get one big hit with Boulder Toss. But blind is going to give a quite substantial miss chance to both of those. And it seems here that Death is opting to use Araxlich as the final damage dealer.
Yeah.
Dark Shroud easily taking down Eagle, especially due to Araxlich's Congeal, allowing it to take so much damage initially from the chill stacks that it's weak to, and then the bleed stacks that have been applied to it, finishing it off.
And you want to have full heal when let's say Griffo appears.
Yeah, so really unfortunate that full heal was used earlier.
I mean, fortunate for Death, but
yeah.
Unfortunate for Red.
Now, it does look like Griffinix has some much better damage previews this time. Not getting the kill on Manticore, but Griffinix does have its slow burn Dark Shift passive, so it will just be building up more and more charge stacks since it only spends a third of them, or it keeps a third of them. I forget which way it goes. But its damage is just going to keep going up higher and higher.
Yep.
So Death will need to be able to deal with it here pretty soon, otherwise it's going to be able to eventually get enough damage to go through their whole team.
Yeah, but with this, I don't see Red managing to kill Elder Gel there. I mean, no Araxlich or Elder Gel, because Elder Gel with 6 stacks, and I think the Phoenix Affinity of Elder Gel has never been procced, right? On this board.
It has not. Now, Griffinix's AoE is Shred, which both Elder Gel and Manticore are weak to, so that's the advantage that Red has here. However, Death's team has been applying quite a lot of chill, and due to King Blob's chill weakness with 3 chill stacks, it is not able to take an effective healing action.
Yeah, and now we are going to witness the revival of a really strong Manticore with 3 H stacks, and yeah.
And 2 buffs at least.
So well played to Death. I mean, let's not sell the beer skin before it has been killed.
Yeah, we could. So like that was just a big play there, getting 2 kills in 1 turn. Now that did use up all the charge stacks on Goblin Brutes or Goblin Miner, which were very necessary for getting a kill later on. So we'll see if Red can keep up with the momentum here, but Death can just freely revive their monsters, and they still have the Elder Gel Phoenix ability. Oh, that's quite a big taunt from Goblin Miner.
Yeah. Really big taunt, which might be game.
Possible if they can get as long as one of the as long as one of Death's revivers is up, they can revive their whole team, and the debuffs from Arachilich and Manticore were definitely proving to be quite devastating to Red's team, since both Miner and King Blob are just unable to take the actions that they want to take.
Yeah, but if Red showed me something this tournament is that he is the RNG master. What I told you, man, he's the RNG master. All the matches I fought versus him, he always had the good taunt at the right moment, or always had good roll. No, he's RNG master.
Yeah, though let's not discount the strength of their team building. Like having this great charge stack set up did allow them to use Griffin Ixner to help turn this around.
No, yeah, for sure.
With Elder Gel's Phoenix Affinity down, they will likely be able to get through them, especially with getting another taunt there. With things looking about the same as they were at the start of last turn, there's probably going to be another AoE clear with Griffinix's Shred that should finish off the match.
Yeah. No, for sure. I'm not trying to diminish how great the team of Red is and how great Red as a player is. I don't want to diminish that, but he has, let's say, luck pairs with the skill and the let's say the knowledge he puts into the team building.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Taunt can proc and taunt can disrupt the game. It's part of the game.
Oh yeah, taunt is definitely a really huge passive sometimes. Because I imagine that on Death's end, they worried that the damage preview on Arcane Bolts was going to kill the King Blob, which would have really set Red back and being unable to kill their monsters and getting less charge generation and helping Death get more momentum. But the taunt redirected to a monster that could easily take the hit. But now we have this game where Goblin Miner actually went down turn 1, which is quite surprising to see. Okay, so yeah, the Goblin Miner did taunt Death's attack there, so Death wasn't able to kill the Eagle as they wanted to. However, the great thing about taunt is that even in its fail case, which is what just happened there, the Red still got what they wanted. Death didn't kill the monster they wanted to kill.
Exactly. So it's, as I said, it's disruption.
And in this situation, Red got to keep their Eagle, which is quite threatening to Death's team. And Spinner easily went down after that. Now, the important thing here, though, is that Thanatos is still on the field, and Thanatos being on the field is quite dangerous due to its many buff-related auras and its ability to use full offense to apply those improved buffs.
Totally agree.
Interesting to see Arachilich and Elder Gel all being brought out this early.
Yeah, for me it's because they have magical resistance, so they are a good matchup versus equal, let's say, equal DPS.
That does make sense.
And so it slows a bit the momentum that Red has, but okay.
Never mind. Yeah, Red just was able to build up a huge amount of damage for their Eagle there.
I was saying nonsense because no, Arachilich is weak to magical damage, my bad. So that was not the reason.
Now Red is in an awkward situation here though, because no matter what they do, Death will have 2 revive monsters on the field. And one of them will be Satsune with Bleed Out, which will be quite difficult for Red to deal with. If the game gets sort of stalled out like it has been in the past few matches, then the Satsune's Bleed Out will cause Red's monsters, their bleed stacks to not go down, and it will lead to them inevitably going down to the bleed damage.
Yeah, and especially Red seems to be forced in a position where he might have his 3 DPS in the board at the same time, and I don't think it's a situation that you want.
Oh, definitely not. This is a really bad situation for Red, and because their team seems to be very much built around the fact that King Blob just is going to be really hard to take down, and that between Goblin Miner and Targoat, both of them will stay around on the field. The fact that both of them went down and King Blob is ready to go down here is really bad for Red, because Eagle, Griffinix, and Mimic can't support each other to make one of them deal the high damage that they need. And now, also another thing to consider here is that both Eldritchel and Setsune provide the Blood Magic aura. So every hit, there are two 35% chances to apply a bleed stack for 35% of the damage dealt on the hit, on top of what normal bleed is on their attacks. So, and then with Setsune's bleed out aura, those bleed stacks do not go away when they deal damage. So it's looking like that Death will be able to pretty easily cleave through Red's team here. Yep. Especially with the splatter aura causing the monsters when they die to just spread their bleed stacks around to the other monsters.
So Red provides some, let's say, Avengers aura, you know, to have free DPS on the field at the same time. It's a Steam success. That's the best that you want to achieve in a PvP team. Like we can see at the really huge damage output from Griffinix. Really great combo builder.
Yeah, none of Red's monsters can help. None of the Red's monsters can apply buffs to the other monsters or build high combo. They all want other monsters to do that for them. Since none of them can get the support they want, none of them are going to deal the damage they need.
No, it's very tricky.
The best that Red could hope for is to take down one of Death's monsters, but in this situation with two Revivers on the field, Death, like, that's just not going to do really much of anything to Death.
No.
And that, since it's going to take so long for Red to get through Death's team in this situation, Bleed Out's going to bleed him out. Yeah, Red could definitely turn this around, but I see this as being pretty heavily in Death's favor.
Yeah.
It's really good of Death to send out Setsune later in the game as opposed to at the start, since the previous two games Death was losing Setsune so early. And Bleed Out is definitely what they needed in order to deal with Red. And now with just one Mimic on the field staring down two Revive monsters, yeah, it's pretty safe for Red to forfeit that match there. So we're on to game 4.
Yep, game 4, Red took first turn. I'm not surprised about the choice. You don't want to get again versus a full offense plus a spinner play.
Yeah, so Death brought in Azrach instead of Thanatos. So I imagine Death is wanting to bring them Thanatos if they have the first turn, so they can full offense and attack. But then if they're going second, they want Azrach, since Azrach has the concealed ability, making it so that on the first turn it has an extra 30% dodge chance, making it so that it's very unlikely to go down. At least if the opponent doesn't have Leaf Slash or another undodgeable attack. Now it is interesting to see here that Red opts not to attack the first turn, but just buff up and shield up.
Yep. Because he's thinking, okay, it might not be possible for Death to kill him on his turn, since he does not have stuff like such stuff like Thanatos and so on. So he's just like, okay, I'm going to provide buffs to my team, to provide charge, and to go for it.
So Goblin Miner redirected Azrach's Dark Shroud attack from Mimic, and Death opted to just go all in on attacking the Miner there, which just did not end up doing very much damage to the Miner, which kind of nullified Death's turn there, and now leads to an easy kill with Mimic. And seeing how disastrous Bleed Out was for his team last match, Red went for the Setsune first. Now, Azrach has not been able to spend like more than a turn or two on the field in any of these previous matches, so just kind of get to see if it's really to be feared as much as it has been.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like previous game, Red always focused first Azerach, then Sutsune, and now he's trying maybe something else. But he's taking a lot of stacks, and so it will be really hard for him to remove all the blind stacks. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Red's monsters are staying pretty healthy despite all this, and also getting really good damage predictions. So it seems that Death isn't going to be in a good situation here, because most likely one of their monsters is going down this turn.
So he built again Glory, bit charge of stacks, a bit of charge stacks, but he still have 3 blind stacks, so I don't know. Even Leaf Slash, okay, he's going for a kill on our Clish, and it works. Okay,
That was a lot of
maybe
blue
he wants
damage.
to keep Azerach for the end.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think they're seeing just that Azerach didn't need to be feared as much as they thought. Mimic can easily take out Azerach whenever it pleases, and it has a decent hit count, so the blind from Azerach isn't going to be affected all that badly. And Goblin Miner is redirecting Azerach's single target attacks a decent amount, so that Azerach is unable to strip its buffs and apply blind and armor break to it as much as it wants. So it's pretty subtle, but I think Goblin Miner's taunts here have been really huge. Death really wanted to start crippling that Mimic with their Azerach, but just couldn't do it. Like, there was a Dark Shroud and a Shadow Grasp, both taunted by Goblin Miner, which Goblin Miner at this point just doesn't care about the blind stacks. It's just going to sit there, it's going to keep using Forge, make sure the team stays messed up, and keeps having a decent amount of shields, and provides its auras. Meanwhile, Mimic gets to stay totally healthy with very few blind stacks and gets to just attack as it pleases.
Yeah, Taunt is a pretty good disruptive tool.
And now at this point, something pretty huge here is that Death doesn't have much debuff removal. Although it seems the Elder Gel does have a restoring bond, so that's how I got rid of weakness on Manticore. It's interesting that they go for... I suppose they really want to kill the Mimic here.
Yep. Because Mimic is scary.
Yeah, but just still not enough damage to take out that Mimic. And with how long that Mimic has been able to just stay on the field, and Red's been able to keep that whole team at this point, I don't think Death has much of a way to come back from this. But then again, I think that first match proved just how potent Death's team is at hanging on.
Yeah, interesting that it does just have a level 1 tackle. Versus Elder Droll, I would have expected Mimic to have, let's say, level 4 tackle in order to do a huge neutral damage versus Droll and as easy guaranteed kill.
Yeah, so that means that this Mimic is built without going down the middle tree much. It seems that Death just went into the middle tree Red just went into the middle tree for mana charging to get and for rings like this. It's definitely an interesting way to build Mimic.
I see shot on the miner. The miner shoots. Okay.
Okay, so possibly just barely missing that kill on miner. But killing off the Mimic is pretty huge, because that one was quite threatening. Then again, all the monsters that Death has left, Manticore is really the only one that fears Mimic. So now being able to switch to different monsters, which are able to better deal with Death's team, might actually result in be a bit of an issue for Death. Though I think Death was counting on the Mimic or the Goblin Miner going down.
Yep. Froze debuffs, but it did not. It did not happen.
So at this point, Red does need to get rid of that Elder Gel, because they can only kill one monster at a time, which will allow the Elder Gel to keep dying. Yeah, we're not at infinity stacks yet, so resetting infinity stacks isn't a factor as to why they would kill off monsters.
Okay, so now Miner is finally down, which makes the battle more interesting. Because now, question is, will Eagle and Targot be enough to get rid of the board that Death has?
Yeah, it's very much underestimating just how quickly Death can get through Red's team once they can just whittle him down enough.
Yeah.
It
So
really
will it
depends
be
how
enough?
It'll really depend how much this Eagle can do this turn.
Yeah. I guess full project to disrupt and provide charge stacks. And now, okay, he wants to get rid of.
Oh, but Death
the
Mimic has
toads
taunt.
from Mimic. Okay.
I always do love going down the middle tree on Mimic to grab taunt. Like, even though you want your Mimic to stay alive, like, having it do stuff like this where it just makes it so your opponent doesn't get the kill they want is just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, Toad is... I underestimate too much this skill, to be honest, because I don't like variants, but Toad is very good.
Oh yeah, I can definitely understand. It is a skill point that can go completely unused in an entire match. And as we saw, it wasn't going off very much. Really, that Mimic never taunted before this on Death's side. But that taunt could be pretty huge here if Death can turn that into getting a kill.
Helping hand on Hegel. Glory buff. Okay, a lot of buffs. Will it be enough?
Ah, okay, so Eagle has Napalm instead of Fire Build at this time. I thought the image on the skill was different.
Yep.
So they
So
could go for the AoE attack.
AoE.
Seems that's what they're going for. Ah, with multiple kills, that'll probably be the end of this match.
Exactly. I guess it is why Red shows this. And that's it.
Yeah, Death's just going for the AoE put out to see what happens, but yeah, does not pan out well for them. Still, it's been very cool just seeing how well Death's team has been holding on every time that they get down to so few monsters. Oh, Eldergel did still have Phoenix Affinity. But at this point, yeah, Death, well, looks like they're still hanging on. So I don't imagine the Mimic can do much here.
Okay.
Yeah, Death
For
probably
Fate.
just look. Alright,
So Red is winning the battle.
Yeah, so that means that Red now is gotten in third place for the tournament.
Yep. And Dev 4th place. So congrats to both players. It was really an interesting battle to watch.
Yeah,
And thanks
very
for
well.
watching.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. These are some really close matches.